There are things your dog does that have nothing to do with food, nothing to do with walks, nothing to do with any practical need you meet for them. Things they do purely because of you, because of who you are to them, because somewhere in the architecture of their nervous system, you have become the most important variable in their entire world. And these 7 behaviors are how that truth leaks out into the open, where you can actually see it. Most owners see these things every day and do not fully understand what they are looking at. Today, we are going to name them clearly. 1. They watch you leave and wait where they last saw you. When you walk out of a room or out of the house entirely, then your dog goes to the spot where they last had visual contact with you and stays there, watching the door, facing the direction you went, waiting. This is not separation anxiety in the clinical sense. It is the attachment behavior of a dog whose nervous system has registered that the most important thing in the room has left it, and who is maintaining orientation toward the last known location of that thing while waiting for its return. In attachment research, this is called proximity seeking during separation. The behavioral expression of a bond that is strong enough that its absence produces a specific, directed response rather than general restlessness or indifference. Your dog does not wait at the door for the mail carrier. They do not maintain a vigil at the spot where a neighbor disappeared from view. They do it for you, specifically and only for you, and that specificity is the entire message. 2. They bring you into their play. Your dog is playing, fully absorbed in a toy, mid-game, completely engaged, and they stop. They pick up the toy and bring it to you, or they pause and look at you, with that specific bright-eyed look that is unmistakably an invitation. Come into this. I want you here. Play is one of the most behaviorally significant invitations a dog extends to another individual. Dogs do not invite indiscriminate play with everyone in their environment. They extend invitations selectively based on the quality of the relationship and the degree to which the other individual feels safe, familiar, and worth the vulnerability of playful engagement. Bringing you into play is your dog saying, in the most energetically generous way available to them, that the game is better with you in it, that whatever they were doing alone was fine, but this with you is what they actually wanted. Research on play behavior in domestic dogs consistently finds that dogs initiate play with their primary attachment figure at higher rates than with other familiar humans, even controlling for factors like who feeds them and who provides the most daily care. The play invitation is relationship specific in a way that reflects the depth of the bond, rather than simple social drive. 3. Your stress makes them leave what they are doing. Your dog is across the room, settled, resting, occupied, not paying obvious attention to you, and you become stressed, not dramatically, not visibly in any way that you have consciously registered yourself, and they get up. They do not go to the window, they do not go to the door, they come to you. This is the co-regulatory bond functioning at its most profound level. Your dog has been monitoring your physiological state continuously through scent, through the subtle changes in your breathing and posture that precede conscious emotional awareness, and the shift in your state has produced a specific, directed response that cost them something. They were settled. They got up anyway, because your state matters to them more than their own comfort in that moment. Research on stress detection in dogs has established that dogs can identify changes in human cortisol through scent alone, before any behavioral signal has made the emotional state visible. And dogs bonded at the primary attachment level respond to that detection with proximity-seeking behavior that is specifically directed at their person rather than at whoever is closest or most available. Your dog getting up from rest to come to you when you are stressed is not random. It is one of the most direct behavioral expressions of what you mean to them, that your well-being registers in their nervous system as something that takes priority. 4. They show you things. Your dog finds something, a bug on the ground, a strange smell in the corner, something that caught their attention, and they come to show you. They do not investigate it fully on their own and move on. They come to you first, or they return to you after the initial discovery with a clear invitation for shared attention. This behavior is called joint attention, and it is one of the most cognitively sophisticated social behaviors dogs produce. It requires the dog to understand that you have a perspective, that you can look at something and attend to it, and that bringing your attention to something they find interesting is a worthwhile social investment. Research on joint attention in dogs found it to be one of the clearest markers of the quality of the human-dog social relationship. Dogs do not share their attention with people they regard as peripheral to their social world. The sharing itself is the signal, an act of inclusion that says, this thing I noticed is interesting enough that I want you to know about it too. Your dog showing you things is them treating you as a social partner whose perspective on the world matters to them. That is a specific and significant form of regard that not every dog extends to every person. 5. They calm down, specifically when you touch them. Your dog is anxious, genuinely activated, nervous system running above baseline, and you place your hand on them and something changes. Not immediately and not completely, but measurably. The breathing slows slightly, the body releases a degree of its held tension. The monitoring behavior reduces in intensity. The presence of your specific touch has altered their physiological state in a way that no other available stimulus does. This is the co-regulatory bond expressing itself through touch. Your dog's nervous system has formed such a deep association between your physical presence and the experience of safety that your touch now partially reactivates the calming effect of that association even during distress. Not every touch from every person does this for a given dog. Research on touch-based regulation in dogs finds that the calming effect of physical contact is significantly stronger when that contact comes from the primary attachment figure than from other familiar humans. Your touch is not interchangeable with anyone else's. It carries a specific regulatory charge that has been built through thousands of accumulated experiences of safety in your presence. When your dog calms specifically under your hand, when they do not fully calm for anyone else the same way, that specificity is one of the clearest measures of what you mean to them. 6. They change when you come home, not just when anyone comes home. Everyone who lives with your dog comes home, and your dog responds to all of them. They orient, they wag, they acknowledge the arrival, they are social, and they notice. But yours is different. The behavioral and physiological research on canine reunion responses is consistent on this point. Dogs show a distinctly more intense response to the return of their primary attachment figure than to the return of other familiar household members. The cortisol accumulated during your specific absence drops upon your specific return. The oxytocin surge that accompanies your reunion is measurably distinct from what occurs when others arrive. What this looks like in practice varies by dog. It might be the specific quality of the vocalizations, a level of physical activation that is visibly higher, a particular way they press against you in the first moments that they do not extend to others. The difference is not always dramatic, but it is consistent, and your dog's body cannot manufacture it for someone they are not bonded to at the deepest available level. 7. They rest fully only when you are present. This is the quietest sign on the list, and possibly the most telling. Your dog rests throughout the day. They nap, they settle, they find comfortable spots and occupy them. But there is a specific quality of rest, a depth, a completeness, a full physical release of held tension that only appears when you are in the room. The nervous system of an attached dog does not fully stand down in the absence of its primary anchor. It rests, yes, but it rests differently. The sleep is lighter, the body holds a degree of readiness that full safety would not require. The monitoring never completely stops. When you are present, specifically you, not just any familiar person, something changes in the quality of the settling. The body releases more completely, the breathing slows further, the position becomes more open, more vulnerable, more fully at ease. You may never have consciously noticed this. Most owners do not, but it has been happening every day. Your presence is the condition under which your dog's nervous system gives itself full permission to rest. Not just your house, not just familiar people. You, specifically, irreplaceably, you are what makes the world safe enough to truly let go in. 7 things, all of them ordinary, all of them extraordinary once you understand what they are. Your dog has been telling you that you mean everything to them since the day you met. You just needed to know how to hear it. Drop a comment, I read every single one. Subscribe, new video every week. See you next time.